Human history is being rewritten on the Indonesian island of Flores. It is so remote that when you get here, it's not difficult to suspend your disbelief. Anything could have happened here. There are volcanoes which are still active, dragons, the bluest skies, and the most relentless rain you've ever seen. Mosaics of rice paddies planted by tribal peoples who move to a beat you'll never hear on MTV.
17,000 islands make up Indonesia.
Yes,
We came to Flores with Douglas Hobbs, one of the Australian archaeologists responsible for the discovery. He knows the island well. Over the last 10 years, he's been excavating sites like this limestone cave carved into a mountainside.
This is the cave.
This is it.
It's vast enough to be a cathedral and has the feel of one as well. Dark, cool, and hallowed somehow. The stalactites forming natural altars, not carved by human hands. It is, in fact, an ancient burial ground. And villagers still come here to conduct rituals worshipping their ancestors, which makes it a perfect place to search for them.
The early stuff has got to be in this area here.
The team dug for 3 seasons. Then Hobbs had a hunch and suggested they dig in one corner of the cave. They were down 18 feet when they came upon a skeleton, the likes of which none of them had ever seen before. It was small, so at first they thought they'd found the skeleton of a child. But once they had a really good look, they realized it wasn't a child at all, but a woman, about 30 years old and 3 feet tall.
We decided we discovered a new species.
This must have been an experience of a lifetime for a scientist.
Absolutely. I mean, it was totally unexpected. Totally unexpected.
Totally unexpected because what they were looking for were remains of aboriginals on their millennia-long journey to Australia.
And so the Hobbit was a real surprise when we found it, I can tell you. It was...
When you found her?
Her, sorry, beg your pardon, her. And the actual skeleton itself was lying in this area along here. The cranium
There were
was
parts
here.
of 7 people,
cranium
as
is
we
here.
might as well call them, and the scientists decided to call them hobbits not only because of their diminutive height, but because of the skull, which had room for a brain the size of a grapefruit, smaller than a chimpanzee brain. Alongside these bones, the remains of giant rats and Komodo dragons were found, as well as those of an animal now extinct called the stegodon. That's an elephant the size of a cow.
Okay, so our skeleton is cohabitating with these small elephants.
Well, they're obviously hunting them. That is what we've concluded. We found quite a lot of the bones of them associated with stone tools in which they'd butchered them with. Plus, we found hearths where they actually would have cooked the food as well.
They knew about fire.
Obviously, this is what we're concluding, that they actually must have known about collective hunting. So this suggests social organisation.
What you are picturing, if I can see into your mind a little bit, is at some point where we're